listening to those smaller urges and giving ourselves permission, that's when the soul is like, yes, oh, they're finally listening to me. And then we develop that muscle. We can lean in and have a greater conversation.
Welcome back to We Be the Change. In this third and final segment of our Coming Home to Soul series, I'm joined again by Tessa, Lynne, Alburn for an insightful conversation focused on developing a deeper connection with soul. Together, we explore how to recognize old patterns, form new habits, and honor the whispers of soul. You'll discover how to manage discomfort and balance holistic self-care by listening to small urges and making little incremental changes. After all, it isn't about striving, it's about remembering. This is your host, Colleen Akiko. Thanks for joining us. You're also invited to check out nurturing resources, supportive bonus content, and the free eGuide Out of Your Mind into Your Light at SongRise.LIVE. That's SongRise.LIVE. I restrained myself from putting your resume out there, all your years in the corporate world, your years in the music world, all the healing modalities that you move in so expertly and sensitively. You're just such a genuine, real person. The world is really very blessed to have people like you. You are in this realm that is all about service and helping people and bringing the frayed ends together in a beautiful way that we discover our wholeness and our beauty.
Oh,
And
thank you. Years ago, I was teaching at UCLA. I was teaching scientific scuba diving. And I had the privilege of knowing Dr. Glenn Eggstrom when he was alive. And he was in charge of the applied kinesiology department. And I had heard him before I even went to work there. I'd heard him at various seminars, and he was teaching scuba techniques for teachers and dive masters to help people understand why diving accidents can be so dramatic and what it takes to not have those, to prevent those. And the applied kinesiology science has proven that it takes 18 to 20 times of doing something correctly or well in order for it to become a habit in a row. So let's say you do it 5 times and then you blow it or something happens or you get upset or you panic or you're like, no, like this isn't going to work. Then you start over. So you need to do it 18. That sounds like that's a lot, right? To do anything well, 18 to 20 times, and then it becomes a habit.
It does sound like a lot from one side, but from the other side, it sounds like, oh, that's all?
Yes.
Oh, I have been suffering so much. I just have to do something correctly 18 to 20 times. That's no big whoop. Not really.
It's not when you know how to do it in small increments.
Yeah.
Right? We set out to do a long jump and we try to leap 20 feet.
Right.
It's not going to happen, unless we're jumping off the top of a building.
We'll go there.
Yeah. So we need to know how to take the little steps, the baby steps that get us there to the bigger steps and create those baby steps over and over and over and over until we've done it 18 times, 19 times. Oh, wow, it's not such a big deal. Oh, I got that down.
Tools are not painful or difficult. It's not like, I remember one time I went in Truckee, I went to an advanced yoga class with some friends. I'm like, oh, I do a little yoga. This should be fine. I was sore for days. It was not my practice. I wasn't practicing like that. And it was painful. But what we're talking about is totally different. You're very holistic in.
Yes. So a holistic approach takes care of the being as it's making those incremental changes. And I used to use a model in my coaching that was taught to me, and it worked really well for a long time, which is basically saying to people, look, yes, you're in this pain. You want to get over here where it feels great. Pain makes gain, that's been going around for years, right? Since the 80s, I think. And I think it's no longer needed in terms of like when we think of pain, we need to redefine what pain is, right? Pain might be stretching. Pain might be just a little bit more into the discomfort, but not like beating ourselves up or over exercising, let's say, to the point of exhaustion. Like we don't want to do that. That is not a good model. Instead, we want to make healthy, holistic choices that serve us in the pace that works for us, yet still is accountable. We're still actually doing it. We're not just thinking about doing something.
Yes.
To help us reconnect with that part of ourselves that wants to be speaking to us so much and wants to guide us and love us through the rest of our lives. And there's a profound shift when that happens. Profound, right? Like I could, there are times there were markers in my life where moods and feelings were suddenly dramatically different.
Yeah.
Because of a perception that came out of a moment of inner peace and connection with something wiser than myself. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then we move from there. But the pain, if there is pain, it is this discomfort or facing this discomfort we think we're going to have. We've got to say, I'm going to be okay if I feel a little uncomfortable.
Even as you're talking, I'm imagining how I would feel if I was just used to carrying something on my back. Been
Yeah.
in third world situations often where the women carry horrific amounts of weight, of necessity from one place to another. And I've tried to carry what they carry. I can't. They're way stronger. But when I imagine, okay, I've been carrying something backpacking even, and down the trail, and I've kind of gotten used to it. My body's done something to adjust. And even taking the weight off my back, at first, it's not comfortable because I'm used to being compacted.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
When we're used to being compacted or constricted, and then all of a sudden we have a little more space to move and to breathe, there's that little adjustment time where we're not sure if it's safe to breathe, or, we're not sure if we really can stand up, that's going to hurt. And so I'm appreciating what you're saying about the little increments over and over, because we're just saying, yeah, it's like this, but it can be more like this. Instead of this, it's this.
It's expanded versus contracted, just
Little.
that much, right? Yeah. And it makes a big difference
Yeah.
in our totality and in our experience of life. Those small things. There were one or two other things that I wanted to mention as part of what can help people to feel connected and belong with their soul or belong to their soul or know that their soul is with them. Like listen to the calling, whatever the calling is. If you are feeling drawn, like on a deep level, like something, or maybe it's irrational or it seems like it is, because, I don't know, I feel like I want to start drawing using oil paints and unusual materials to put it on, right? I'm going to put beads on furniture, for example. This is something I
Or I
did.
want to make a garden.
Yes.
In strict way. And
yes. And I don't want to do it like everybody else. I want to do this. I want to plant this. And listening to those smaller urges and giving ourselves permission, that's when the soul is like, yes, oh, they're finally listening to me. Okay, this right. And then we develop that muscle. We can lean in and have a greater conversation. And I think also to ask good questions. And one of the ways that we've been programmed to ask very few questions or to say, well, what's wrong with you? That's a pretty standard programming question. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with it? Instead of saying, what could I learn here? What is here for me to learn?
and our brain, even as you say that, The brain is going to say, that's so corny. Come on. The brain is going to say, that's stupid.
Don't do that. Just stick
But
over here with me. I
yeah,
know exactly what
yeah,
to do. I will keep you safe. But the brain will just keep you in the same place.
yeah, the
Yeah.
brain, the inner critic, etc. And yet, maybe back to the smaller increments, I wonder if we can just notice, like maybe we ask that question, what can I learn here? And then we have this reaction. There is the soul part of us that says, hey, did you notice how loudly your brain is protesting that you are asking that question? Wow, check it out. The brain is really freaking out that you asked that. And so even just asking what the brain tells us is a corny question can start a really very meaningful dialogue with our soul.
With our soul, yes. And helping the brain to quiet and know that it doesn't have to be on such high vigilance all the time, to allow it to even tell it to not do that is
Yeah.
really helpful. It'll be like, what? You sure? You sure? Yep. Absolutely positive. Need 15 minutes, no vigilance. There's no alarm. There's no fire. There's no bear. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay right now. Yep. I have some uncomfortable feelings and I'm going to explore those and see what I have to learn there. Right? So learning with kindness, asking questions with kindness and openness, not thinking ahead of time that we have the answer. I'm going to give a real world example of what not to do. Let's see if I can paint this picture for you. Sometimes when we say, oh, what can I learn here? Let's say somebody's at work and there's a kerfuffle and there's somebody competitive and there's a lot of, I got to watch my words and this and that and the other. And then let's say the new student comes home and they're like, I need to sit and figure out what I need to learn. Okay, I'm just going to do that. Let me sit down. What is it I need to learn here, Soul? What do I need to learn? Well, those guys are assholes. Yeah, that's what I need to learn. And don't mess around with them anymore. Yeah, that's still the brain. And those are the old protections coming up to defend us and help us to think we're right. So if we're connecting into that energy, that's not the soul level.
I'm
That's
glad you said that.
protection level. Yeah.
Connecting into that energy. Yes. And
Yes.
we all know we're very familiar with that energy.
So we want to be open to something we haven't heard before.
Yeah. You know, when you were talking just a minute ago, I had a sense that it's almost like we're walking with our chatty brain and we're in this really cool forest and then at some point there is a clearing that is calling to us. And we can say, you know what? It's just like we would say to a child, I'm going to be just right over here. You can see me. I'm just right here. I'm going to go sit in the clearing for a few minutes. And you'll be fine. Just sit here on the log. We can see each other. But it's going to help me be a lot nicer with you if I can have some time clearing.
I love that.
It'll
Yeah, that's the
better.
mom technique, right? Like, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. But just want to sit in the clearing. I used to have to actually, as a mother, the only place that I could kind of have a little chill, safe place was in the bathroom if I locked the door. And I was amazed at the time how much touching base can happen in so short a time in the bathroom when everything is
Yes.
flying all over the place. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of busyness, there's a lot of time. I'm in the bathroom and
Sacred time.
yes.
Yes.
I know that you're also a Reiki master. I used to, as a Reiki master as well, I would go in the bathroom when things were crazy and I would kind of have my time with my Reiki symbols in the bathroom because that was the only place that I knew I wouldn't be interrupted. And for my own self-care, I needed to
Yes.
have that time with my soul, with what was near and dear to me, with what I knew would help me walk into the day in a better way. So
Yes. Glad
I
you did that.
recommend
Yes. And self care is very important, but we're not talking about just the surface. We're
no.
talking about the inner self care of listening, of honoring whatever we're going through, whatever we're feeling, and to embrace it with love and kindness, to always be kind and gentle. I think if we can be gentle with ourselves, we won't need to be pushing and telling ourselves, beating ourselves up basically to motivate us. I think that does not work. Like, get rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Our quota has been filled. Would you mind spelling out how people can connect directly with you on your website? What is your website called again?
Yes. Well, actually, I am going back to one of my name websites. I have a roadblock removal session or release session. If people want to check that out, they can go to Tessa, Lynne with an E, Alburn.com. And also, I have a free gift right now available. That is an 8-step system for the Shiro's journey, the soulful Shiro. So I think there's some really inspiring words in there. And when you read through that, you can use it like a tool at home and you could start to practice with that and see how you resonate. So that's a great giveaway. If you're just like, no, I just want to remove some things and release some things so I can get going on my soul journey, then you can go to the website, connect with me there.
Yes. And again, you are one of those rare treasures who can meet each person where they are. And what you've just described is just like that. So often, what you present is what we already kind of sort of know. We've had an inkling that this is possible, but we're so busy with other things that we really didn't sit with it for it to come in clearly. The clarity is not there. It's like a picture out of focus. And what I
Yes.
find with you is that you bring the picture into focus and you help people to see, oh, wow, that's gorgeous. That's me. Oh my gosh, look at that. So you have a very special way of doing that. And maybe from all your years in corporate, you also are very concise, very clear.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. And well, I did study instructional design, so that's helped me learn how to share ideas and to teach in ways that can be digested. And
Yeah,
so I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that
easily
that's your
connected.
experience.
Yeah, easy to connect with what you're putting out,
Beautiful.
what you're sharing. Yeah,
Thank you, Colleen.
appreciate that. And I am so looking forward to our next conversation. And in the meantime, I will put links on my website, SongRise.LIVE, to not only the podcasts, we'll have some blog content also, but I'm sure that you'll also have some bonus content that we can make available for people who are really intrigued, which I hope they are because it's rich.
Fantastic. All right.
Oh,
Great. Thanks
thank you
again
so
for
much.
having me here today.
You
I
betcha.
appreciate you.
Likewise. So, what if change isn't about fixing, but about listening? As we close this series with Tessa Lynne Alburn, I invite you to make space for a quiet moment to notice what your soul might be saying beneath the noise of the day, those quiet nudges and small yeses. This is how we be the change, by returning gently and consistently to who we've been all along. Thanks for being with us on We Be the Change in this series, Coming Home to Soul. Make sure you access the resources, bonus content, and the free eGuide Out of Your Mind into Your Light at SongRise.LIVE. That's SongRise.LIVE. I'm Colleen Akiko, wishing you warm connections as we all make our way home together.